Saturday morning in Melrose Mountain, Tryon, North Carolina at higher ground. Well, next week should be the peak of the leaf season. It's got quite a bit of color, and share a few pictures with you next week as we reach that peak of the season. Joshua, the story of Joshua taking Jericho and the story of Joshua being defeated at Ai have so many lessons for us. When Joshua crosses over the Jordan at the wrong time of year from the standpoint of man's sight, till the time he takes Jericho is an interesting time because the Israelites are dependent upon God. They're looking for his leadership, his directions, and even though Jericho was far more formidable enemy and city than Ai was, they had an astounding victory. However, there were things that they were not supposed to take under ban by God, and they did take them. So when they approach Ai, a very interesting thing happens. They come in with an overconfidence, but not an overconfidence in God, an overconfidence in themselves. They say they don't need to send up a very large force because Jericho fell so easily. They're overconfident in their own abilities. Second of all, there's sin in the camp. Achan has taken some of those things that were not to be taken, and when sin is in the camp, God holds us accountable. And so we see then another critical lesson, not only overconfidence in ourselves and not overconfidence, but not leaving God in the formula for victory. And then we find very carefully that when they're defeated at Ai, their enemy sees them as weak. And very clearly stated in chapter 7, verse 12, Israel can't stand before their enemies. And God is not with them. And they certainly have now got a new problem, which is a confidence by the enemy and the belief that the enemy can beat them. That happens to Christians too. Christians become overconfident in self and not reliant upon God. Christians do things and hold things for themselves that they shouldn't, and just as Achan did at Ai. And we become seen as easy targets for our enemies because we've been defeated and we've wandered away from God. There were only 26 men killed as they were defeated at Ai, and they sent up 3,000 troops. But nevertheless, it was a devastating loss because they ran with their tails tucked between their legs. There is one good message within this battle scene of Jericho and Ai, and that is that God is a God of second chances. When Israel decides to take care of their sin, when they deal with the sin that's in the camp, God now sends them back to Ai with a great battle plan, a battle plan that would prove to be devastating to the people of Ai. You see, when we get back and repent and get back with God, we'll always be victorious. And so we need to remember the very important lessons of the battles of Jericho and the battles of Ai, and how devastating it is when there's sin in the camp, and how difficult it becomes when we put our confidence in our own abilities instead of our confidence in the abilities of God. That's your thought for the day. God bless you and have a great day.